We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. Thinking, the talking of the soul with itself. There is no harm in repeating a good thing. Truth is the beginning of every good to the gods, and of every good to man. Knowledge without justice ought to be called cunning rather than wisdom. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. To be conquered by yourself is of all things most shameful and vile. Wealth, and poverty, one is the parent of luxury and indolence, and the other of meanness and viciousness, and both of discontent. An empty vessel makes the loudest sound, so they that have the least wit are the greatest babblers. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. If a man neglects education, he walks lame to the end of his life. All men are by nature equal, made all of the same earth by one workman. Books give a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. The measure of a man is what he does with power. The direction in which education starts a man will determine his future in life. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. Wise men speak because they have something to say, fools because they have to say something. Do not train a child to learn by force or harshness, but direct them to it by what amuses their minds, so that you may be better able to discover with accuracy the peculiar bent of the genius of each. Bodily exercise, when compulsory, does no harm to the body, but knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold on the mind. When two friends, like you and me, are in the mood to chat, we have to go about it in a gentler and more dialectical way. By more dialectical, I mean not only that we give real responses, but that we base our responses solely on what the interlocutor admits that he himself knows. A library of wisdom is more precious than all wealth, and all things that are desirable cannot be compared to it. Whoever therefore claims to be zealous of truth, of happiness, of wisdom or knowledge, must become a lover of books. And what, Socrates, is the food of the soul? Surely, I said, knowledge is the food of the soul. Writing is the geometry of the soul. Every heart sings a song, incomplete, until another heart whispers back. Those who wish to sing always find a song. At the touch of a lover, everyone becomes a poet. Do not train a child to learn by force or harshness, but direct them to it by what amuses their minds, so that you may be better able to discover with accuracy the peculiar bent of the genius of each. According to Greek mythology, humans were originally created with 4 arms, 4 legs and a head with 2 faces. Fearing their power, Zeus split them into 2 separate parts, condemning them to spend their lives in search of their other halves. One of the penalties of refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors, and when one of them meets the other half, the actual half of himself, whether he be a lover of youth or a lover of another sort, the pair are lost in an amazement of love and friendship and intimacy, and one will not be out of the other's sight, as I may say, even for a moment. In politics we presume that everyone who knows how to get votes knows how to administer a city or state. When we are ill, we do not ask for the handsomest physician, or the most eloquent one. Those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed, by the masses. How can you prove whether at this moment we are sleeping, and all our thoughts are a dream, or whether we are awake, and talking to one another in the waking state? Bodily exercise, when compulsory, does no harm to the body, but knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold on the mind. No man should bring children into the world who is unwilling to persevere to the end in their nature and education. Musical innovation is full of danger to the state, for when modes of music change, the fundamental laws of the state always change with them. Excellence is not a gift, but a skill that takes practice. We do not act rightly because we are excellent. In fact, we achieve excellence by acting rightly. People are like dirt. They can either nourish you and help you grow as a person, or they can stunt your growth and make you wilt and die. Love is born into every human being. It calls back the halves of our original nature together. It tries to make one out of 2 and heal the wound of human nature. The soul takes nothing with her to the next world but her education and her culture. At the beginning of the journey to the next world, one's education and culture can either provide the greatest assistance, or else act as the greatest burden, to the person who has just died. I thought to myself, I am wiser than this man. Neither of us probably knows anything that is really good, but he thinks he has knowledge, when he has not, while I, having no knowledge, do not think I have. I would teach children music, physics, and philosophy, But most importantly music, for the patterns in music and all the arts are the keys to learning. A hero is born among 100, a wise man is found among 1,000, but an accomplished one might not be found even among 100,000 men. If a man can be properly said to love something, it must be clear that he feels affection for it as a whole, and does not love part of it to the exclusion of the rest. For to fear death, my friends, is only to think ourselves wise without really being wise, for it is to think that we know what we do not know. For no one knows whether death may not be the greatest good that can happen